So here we are, September 10th, about 10 o'clock p.m. And I'm looking over this interview that our cooning Mayor Adams did with MSNBC. New York City Mayor Adams calls for city budget cuts due to escalating migrant crisis. And he mentions in there that the city is projected to spend up to $5 billion in the next 2 years to cover the cost of the migrant crisis. And the federal government, in other words, the administration, Joe Biden administration, has only sent $140 million to help out. And then he has the actual damn nerve to try and pretend that this was shocking to him, that, when the right to shelter was put in place, didn't anticipate that there would be 100,000 people coming. But gaslighting Mayor Adams. You announced again and again that we were a sanctuary city and we would welcome people, we meaning you and the Democratic leaders and the elites. You didn't mean we, the people. And then you had the nerve to talk about my black people. That's why I said, come together with me and please come to this rally. We have a black mayor talking about how he went to the HERCs, which is the humanitarian centers that they've put up for the illegals. Said he's been talking to them. He spent a night there. He said how his job is to protect New Yorkers and make sure they're safe. And really, I'm so glad you said that, because I'm going to sue you for that, Mayor Adams, on behalf of all the black people here who are unsafe, and the Americans who are unsafe by your policies that are inviting people who commit all kinds of criminal acts to get here. Some of them commit criminal acts when they're here. Some of them actually come here to commit crimes. And now, black people, pay attention. He wants to play dumb like he didn't know that any of this was going to happen. Like if you open your door and say, hey, anybody who wants to come here and live in my house, come on. And all of a sudden you're overcrowded and you have to pay for everything and you run out of money. Now it's a shock. Really? Really? And so black people who voted for this Democrat bullshit, I want to ask you, are you okay with the fact that most of us are in positions where we're struggling or whatever, or living paycheck to paycheck, whatever, and now 5, 10, 15% is going to be sucked out of budgets across the board. So that means things like garbage pickup, be less garbage pickup, means things like the fire department. They'll be responding less or slower because, that's what they said. The fire department chief said, hey, where are we supposed to cut this from? We can't cut it from the having our firemen and stuff like that. So, what's going to happen? Are y'all okay with this? All of the money in the city is being spent on fucking migrants. Mayor Adams is actually trying to push now for them to work, expedited work permits. Is he worried about making sure there are jobs in the black community for black people? Is he at all concerned that when foreigners come here, the illegals, and they get these jobs, they take over whole industries and do not hire black people, or they'll hire them for the less important jobs, don't want them to have the important jobs, work together to try and get black people fired, blame black people for crime in their communities and shit, bring more crime to our communities. He's not concerned, but he said his job is to keep us safe, right? And then he said something about, well, when people came here through Ellis Island, they wanted to work, and these folks should be allowed to too. The difference is, see, I'm not stupid, Mayor Adams. When they came through Ellis Island, they were inspected thoroughly, and guess what? They all came and started to learn English to try and fit in with the communities, and to, you understand, really try to be American. I don't recall seeing anybody come through Ellis Island waving their own flags, putting their finger up to our monuments, like, fuck, American monuments. I don't recall seeing that. Maybe you did. Maybe you can show me. But what I also want to know is, black people, do you feel we have a humanitarian crisis in this country where we have been historically ignored, underfunded, told that we need to carry ourselves, but yet now the whole city, all of the elected government officials, these Democrats, they're working overtime, pouring in money to pay for everything for these migrants. Do they do that for us, the descendants of slaves? No. And this fucking motherfucker, excuse my language, but you know, I don't give a damn about that. And he's trying to shift it all to the Biden administration. You mean the same administration that says we don't have a open border while millions have come in? There's no shock to this. It's just been growing for the last 30 years. That's the real talk. They try to act like this is some new problem. It started back in the 80s when the drug fucking and crack and all that shit exploded. And they came here to work selling drugs and all of that, a lot of them. Okay, not all. And here we are 30 years later, and now basically we have a black mayor. We've had a black president who did nothing for us. We have black mayors who are bending over backwards to force this into our communities. And I've never seen Mayor Adams come and spend the night in the hood overnight and go through the hood and say, well, let's see, what is there problems here?